All right, welcome. So this is our first class together, and what we're going to focus on today is really awareness, because that is the foundation of yoga. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that it's just about finding more flexibility or building strength. Really, it's a tool to help us bring about more awareness. And especially if what we're trying to do is bring greater health to our body, awareness is going to be essential. We need to know how our body responds. We need to know what's right for it and what's not by listening to the signals in order to move forward, to progress in our practice or just in any like lifestyle choices. So let that just kind of like be your intention today. Of course, we'll go through some basic poses, some postures, but it's really starting to build that relationship where instead of being in like the intellectual brain all the time, you're using the part of your brain that is able to just witness your body, to feel it, and move from that place. Okay, so let's see if we can find that. Go ahead and come onto all fours. So tabletop position. Wrists are directly underneath the shoulders, knees are right under the hips, toes point straight back, and the shins are parallel. And then anytime your hands are on the ground, we want to be pressing down equally through the inner edges and outer edges. We all have a tendency to roll into the outer edges of the hands because it's easier, but press down through the base of your index knuckle and thumb knuckle. Good. And then look down at the inside of the elbows and roll those forward. So those are kind of like the little safety cues. Anytime the hands are on the ground, really. And then become aware of your breath here, just gazing towards the ground. Notice if you naturally breathe through the nose or the mouth. Notice if the breath is in the belly more, the chest more. How deep or how shallow. And then once you know how you are already breathing, let your breath deepen a little. If you can, seal the mouth. So your inhale and exhale is just through your nose. Our nose is meant for breathing. And then we're going to slowly start to add movement to the breath. So as you slowly inhale, you're going to lift your chin, lift your tailbone, and let your belly drop down. Feeling the shoulders drop back a little bit, keep the hands pressing down. As you exhale, gently reverse that. So you're rounding the spine, press into the palms like you're trying to press the ground away and draw your chin in towards your chest. And just a few times. So you're moving into, it's called cat-cow. Anytime the belly is down, the chin is lifted. That is cow pose. And as you exhale and round the spine, that is cat. Do that twice more. Actually, let's do that 3 more times. And see if you can link your movement and your breath. So that instead of, breathing for the duration of the movement, move for the duration of the breath, which hopefully that makes sense. But let your breath be long and even and try to get the movement to match the breath. And then we're just going to add on to that. So inhale, lift your chin. And this time as you exhale, you are going to round your spine, draw your chin in, but then press back. So your hips are coming down towards your heels, your belly's on your thighs, forearms to the ground, head down. So a version of child's pose. Seamlessly moving on the breath. So inhale, come back up, lift your chin. And as you exhale, nice and slow, press back. And just press back as far as you comfortably can. If it doesn't feel good for the knees for it to come all the way down, just go back as far as your body is comfortable. And then again, movement matches the breath. And then inhale yourself back up to all fours. Grab your 2 blocks, place them underneath the hands, And then you're going to step the feet between the blocks. So if they need to be on a higher height for that to happen, go ahead and draw them up. Feet in between the blocks initially, and then you're going to find kind of like the height that's right for you. So you might take them up onto the highest height so that as you press into them, either palms down or fingertips down, you can come halfway up. Feet are hip width distance, and instead of locking the knees, bring a little bend into them. Use the strength of the belly and the muscles along the spine to extend your spine longer. And just try to find that position where the spine is more or less parallel to the ground. And if you need to be higher, hands can come on knees or thighs. And then go ahead and draw the chin in and forward fold. And again, knees stay bent for most of us, especially in this first poses of the practice. Bend the knees enough so that your lowest rib touches your thigh. Forehead drops towards the ground. And then inhale, rise halfway up. And again, you're looking for a flat back. And that's a cue you're going to hear a lot in these classes. And the importance of that is that we are engaging the muscles that help our spine to elongate so that we're not trying to move with that rounded spine. That's where injury comes in. And then go ahead and nice and slowly forward fold. Bending the knees. Low rib rests on the thighs. One more time. Inhale, come halfway up. And exhale. Good. And this time you're going to lift halfway up. Right foot right inside the block. Step your left foot back. And then bring your knee down. Okay. I'm going to take the blocks down a height, but you can use them again on any height. There's obviously 3 options there. Okay, and then we want to tuck the back toes under and try to scoot the left knee back so that we're not actually resting on the kneecap as much. Ideally, it's kind of like the very, very top of the kneecap. If you need extra cushion, grab a blanket or something to rest the knee on. And then we're just going to move back and forth between these 2 postures. So bend your right knee a lot, and you want to be able to sink your hips, your pelvis forward and down as you lift your gaze up and pull your shoulders back. And then slowly start to pull the hips back. Begin to straighten your right leg. If you need to walk the blocks back, then please do. And flex your right foot so you're curling your toes towards your shins. Okay, and then again here, kind of find stability in the legs. Your hip crease is moving back. Your chest, your spine, your crown are all moving forward. Okay, and then again, walk the blocks forward, come back into that low lunge, just opening up the front of that left hip, keep pressing actively into the top of the left foot. And then nice and slow, hips back, maybe blocks walk back, right leg straightens. Do that twice more. Okay, and as you move again, it's all about bringing awareness into it. And that sometimes helps if you close your eyes, so that you're kind of out of your head a little bit. You're not trying to take in the world. You're not looking at what I'm doing. Feel it in your body. Where do you feel tight? Where do you feel open? Where is the movement smooth? Where is it maybe a little jagged? And then go ahead and bend your right knee one more time. Sink the hips, lift the heart. We're going to hold for a couple breaths. Pelvis moves forward and down. Top of the back foot presses gently down. And then hold the other pose for a few breaths. Hips pull back, right leg straightens. Walk the blocks back if you need. Forward fold. And then into your lunge one more time. Left hand is going to plant, and you can choose to either have the hand on the block or bring it onto the ground. Take your right hand onto your right thigh and turn your chest to the right. So you're coming into like a little twist. You can either keep your right hand here or reach it towards the back of the mat. Okay, and left hand is on the ground here. So again, remember those engagement cues. Entire palm pressing down. Inner left elbow is rolling forward, so the left shoulder draws back and keeps stability in the shoulder joint. Good. And then slowly release. Place your hands on your block, step your back foot forward, come into your forward fold. And let's inhale, rise halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Bring the hands down, step the right foot back. Bring the right knee down. Again, if you can, wiggle it back a little bit. So pretty long, low lunge. Untuck the back toes, press the top of the back foot down, and then explore. Just 3 times on your breath. Hips sink, heart lifts. Deep breath in. And nice and slowly pull the hips back. Straighten that front leg. Flex the foot as you bow forward and down. Twice more. And if your breath does not perfectly match the movement here, that is fine. It's more important that your breath is smooth in postures and movements like this. So just see that it's not getting stuck at any point. We actually spend a lot of our days holding our breath. And it's one of the ways that our nervous system gets overactivated. It's one of the reasons why we have a hard time going to sleep at night, or we wake up in the middle of the night and can't get back to sleep. So just learning to breathe again. I think I'm doing an extra one, but that's fine. And then you'll bend the knee, and we'll just hold each pose for 3 breaths. So letting the front of the right hip open, lift your heart, press into the top of the back foot. Take one more complete and smooth breath. And then hips move back. Front leg straightens, 3 breaths here. Slowly bend back into your left knee. I like my hand on the ground, but you can have it on the block if you'd like. The palm comes down, inner elbow rolls forward, so that right shoulder rolls back. Keep your left knee over your left heel. Take your left hand onto the thigh. Turn to the left. So twist. It's like you're trying to turn your belly button towards your inner left thigh. Either stay there or left arm back. And if you ever feel too much pressure on the wrist, if it feels like a little bit too much stretch or there's pain there, move your hand a little forward so wrist is in front of the shoulder. And then slowly release. And the hands will come down onto blocks, this time stepping back into all fours. And we're going to lower all the way down onto the ground. Okay, so a little bit of back strengthening because it's so good for us. Your forehead can rest on the ground, hands by the chest, but we're going to keep the weight out of them. Point your toes straight back, and your feet can be hip-width distance. That's usually a little bit more spacious and comfortable. And then slowly inhale, lift your head up, lift your chest up, and lift your right leg up off the ground, just as high as you can without straining the neck or bringing tension into the shoulders. And then release everything down, tap the forehead or chin to the ground. Inhale, lift as much of your head and chest up off the ground with the left leg as you can. Slowly exhale to release. One more time each side. Inhale, right leg, head and chest. Exhale. Inhale, left leg, head and chest. Exhale. And this time, both legs, head and chest. Hover the hands up off the ground. Squeeze your elbows in by your sides. Pull the tops of the shoulders down away from the ears and lengthen the back of your neck. Keep pointing through the toes. Take one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, release everything down. Stack your hands on top of one another. Create a little pillow. Rest the forehead. Let your heels fall out to the sides. Just wiggle your hips a little bit. See how they feel. If there's any tension in there, any compression in the low back. And that's kind of one of those poses that I don't know anybody that like absolutely loves it, but I love it because it's strengthening. And that is so important for our low back. So a good one to do pretty much every day. Okay. Let's go ahead and press up through all fours. Take your knees a little wider than the hips. Bring your big toes together. Stretch back into child's pose or your version of it. The hips can be lifted still. And if it's not comfortable to have the toes pointed straight back, you can roll up a blanket and place them underneath the ankles. And just take a moment here and kind of crawl the arms forward, crawl the hands forward. So like you're creating a little bit of traction to lengthen your spine forward, even as your pelvis is sinking gently down. And good. Lift yourself up. Okay, we'll come onto our back. And let's actually bring a block with us. When you come down, you're going to place your block between the inner thighs. So right in there's kind of like a little hollow in the inner thighs. And the block is perpendicular to the thigh bone. The length of the block is. Okay. And then from there, lift the feet up off the ground. Bend the knees so they're more or less at 90. Thigh bones vertical. Arms out to the side, palms face up. Okay. And now just become aware of the backs of the shoulders and imagine they are like glued to the ground. You're going to keep them like that. Inhale at center. And as you exhale, start to move your legs about halfway over to the left or just as far as you can while feeling like you're still in control and the right shoulder is still on the ground. Inhale to center. Exhale halfway or just your distance over to the right. Inhale to center. Again, exhale left. Squeeze the belly back. Keep pressing the back of the right shoulder down. Inhale, center. Exhale, nice and slow in that exhale. Knees to the right. One more time each side. And really, this is all about control. It's all about finding that engagement in the muscles all around your core. Okay, come back up to center and exhale one more time over to the left. And this time, try to control legs coming all the way down. If that right shoulder comes up this time, totally fine. If you want to move the block so it's between the knees, that might feel more comfortable. And then maybe place your left hand on top of that right knee. If that feels like too deep a twist, it is also an option to place a blanket underneath the outside of your left leg. Okay, so it just like brings the ground a little closer so the body doesn't have to twist quite as far. Okay, bring your head to center and gaze straight up. And then lift your head up off the ground, turn it to the right. So you're looking gently out towards your right fingertips. But then close your eyes. If yoga is a practice of awareness, let yourself just tap into that here. How does this pose feel? And it's always okay if something doesn't feel right to skip it, to choose something else, to go back to a previous pose we've done or a different one that you know. Right? Is this right for your body? Yoga is wonderful for us, but only if it's done for us. Only if it's, our pose, our practice. And you're going to come back to center. Bring your head to center first. Lift your right leg up. Let the left leg follow. Reposition your block. Inhale. And exhale nice and slowly. Let the legs move over to the right. Again, I like to move the block so it's more between the knees. Right hand on the outside of the left knee, left arm extends. Inhale, lift your head up. And then turn it to the left. Close your eyes. And on this side, let the practice be creating even breath. Sometimes we have to retrain ourselves how to breathe. Bring your head back to center. Lift your left leg up. You can move your block over to the side. Bring the right leg up. Okay, wrap your arms around your knees. Lift your head up round into a little ball and just squeeze your legs as close as you comfortably can. And release the back of the head down. And just the simplest posture, sometimes we overthink this one, Apanasana. A hand on either shin. As you inhale, you're just moving the thighs away from your belly so that your arms straighten. And as you exhale, just pulling the knees, pulling the thighs back in. Do that a couple more times. On the inhale, the thighs move away from the belly as the arms go straight. And as you exhale, thighs in. Release the soles of the feet to the ground. And we're just going to spend about a minute in Shavasana, which is like the final resting pose. And it's really just lying down comfortably. If it feels good, feet can be about mat width distance. Arms can go out wide. And kind of lift your chest up a little bit. Draw the shoulders together, shoulder blades together underneath you slightly, and then come back down. Let the head kind of rock a little side to side, just until the center reveals itself. And then relax there. Let your eyes close. And this pose, Shavasana, it's a pose of integration. It's just a chance for our nervous system to kind of catch up and process. It's a time for our body to integrate our practice. All the little ways that we moved, all the muscles that we stretched or engaged, the way that we breathed. Here, we're just giving ourselves time to let our body, let our nervous system, let our mind help to imprint that, help to make that a part of us. And you get to just rest. If you want to stay here a little bit longer, you can. But when it feels right, and start to move a little bit. Draw your knees into your chest. To come up, when you're ready, you'll roll onto your right side. Come to your seat. Bring your hands together in front of your heart and just a moment to find gratitude for your body, for each and every breath, and for this moment that we get to share together. Namaste.